All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we are definitely so happy and grateful for all of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in the Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots and lots of notes, and let's make sure we do an amazing job of participating and engaging. To our newer members, welcome. Hey, don't be shy. If you have questions, right, make sure you ask them. This is what these sessions are all about. Just make sure that if you are not asking a question or making a comment, let's do our best to make sure our microphones are on mute, out of respect for everyone else. So with that being said, drop me a big, huge number 1 in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear, and we can get this session going. All right, I see all the ones. Thank you so much. I appreciate it for the early participation. So let me get out of here and we can go over to the Forex market. But before I dive into that, Mr. Ryan Carthage, how are you this evening, sir?
My brother, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
You sound a lot better.
I'm getting there, man. Got to get rid of this cough, and then we'll be A1.
Awesome, man. That's glad to hear. Thank you for being here with us, right? And let's hey, a lot of things going on in the market, huh, Ryan?
Man, definitely have some movement today, man.
We did. So I mean, it was all leading up to Chairman Powell's speech. First, we had the non-foreign payroll employment change. So we came in, we missed forecast. So we've got some shrinking going on, right? Some contraction in private sector job growth. Forecast was 196K. We came in at 127. So these are those effects that we are starting to see, right? Starting to see from the hikes, right? The interest rate hikes. So 127K, so that came in under forecast. Preliminary GDP came through still, right? Came in top at 2.9% on a forecast of 2.8. So we still, right, previous month, well, no, not previous month, but previous quarter, revised upward to 2.9%. So that came in pretty good. And then the jobs opening. So we came in at 10.3 on the forecast of 10.24. But so we came in above what was forecasted, but still below, right, for the previous time period. That was 10.69, might as well call it 10.7 million job openings. So we saw, right, even though it came in above forecast just a little bit, still, right, a contraction there in regards to job openings here in the United States. So we're starting to see some of the effects creep in of the interest rate hikes, okay? Because we know we've hiked interest rates at pretty fast pace, but we're seeing this data, right? These data points that the Federal Reserve likes to take a look at in regards to monetary policy. And tomorrow, well, that's the Swissy, but we've got the CPI month over month, so that's going to be important for Swiss currency. But we've got PCE, right? Core PCE, which Jerome Powell has said in several meetings in the past that this is one data point that they really look at. And why is because it differs from the core CPI in that it only measures goods and services targeted towards and consumed by individuals, right? So this is a very important report that's coming out that'll it may fall in line with what we're starting to see in regards to the lagging effects of the interest rate hikes. And then, of course, right, we had Chairman Powell speaking today, and he hinted at a slowdown in rate hikes possible in December. So the Federal Reserve may scale back the pace of its interest rate hikes already in December, as it approaches the level of restraint that will be sufficient to bring inflation down. Fed Chair Powell said in his speech at the Brookings Institution. So still, Powell added that the terminal rate is likely to be somewhat higher, right? Now, he said this on several occasions now than the 4.6 that was indicated in the September projection. So slower pace, but at the end of the day, potential for a higher than a 4.6% terminal rate. So some people are saying 5%, but just doing it at a slower pace. So right now, we see the market is starting to price in probably unless something drastically changes, probably 50 basis points instead of the 75, which is what we've seen here for the last few rate hikes, okay, at 75 basis points. So now we're thinking it's 50 for December based on what he talked about today. And as a result, we saw the stock market, right? We saw some rallying in the markets globally, right? So you see Japan shares track Wall Street higher. So we saw the rally, but this was just based on monetary policy. When you look at, globally, still, right? Still got those recessionary woes. So we'll see how long, right, this rally that we're seeing in the market lasts. Also, I guess you can look at it, right, as impossible. We saw the Australian dollar, moving upwards because of some news coming out of China in regards to the zero COVID policy that I guess they're heading, into a new stage for zero COVID. So whatever that means, right? We've got a little bit of rallying going on as a result. So we'll see how that plays out in China. And we know that that's Australia's largest trade partner, New Zealand as well. So we know that that has effects on those two currencies. So we'll continue to watch out for that. If we pop over here, hold on a second, gotta shake my screen. We pop over and take a look at the dollar index, right? We've been in this zone and we're still, right? We've pushed down, we've broken through this daily support level. So that zone, we're pushing down lower. So we will see, right, as we close out the week, with actually, we've got PCE. I did mention PCE, but on Friday, right, can't forget about that. First Friday of the month, we're going to have here in the United States, we've got the non-farm payroll first Friday of every month. So another key data, another set of key data points in regards to average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate. We also have that for Canada as well. And then on Thursday, back things way up a little bit. We got the PCE, we got ISM manufacturing. This is a busy week. And then we've got Governor Lowe speaking in Australia, Reserve Bank in New Zealand, Governor Orr is speaking. So a lot of Fed, a lot of central bank speak this week. So just continue to, if you're in profit and trades and you're looking to take trades, make sure you're checking your calendar, right? With your day trading, and make sure that you manage your trades appropriately if you're in some good profit right now on some of your longer term swing trades. So lots and lots of information going on as we head into the last month of 2022 and into the holiday season. Ryan, anything to add on the fundamental front that I may not have covered?
No, sir. That was it.
All right. Anybody, any questions on anything that's going on fundamentally? All right. Okay. All right. Fundamentals are important. Okay. Whether you're swing trading or you're doing more intraday trading, you want to be aware of the fundamentals and what actually drives the market, right? So it's not one or the other. It's typically a combination of both, right? That's what we believe here in the Forex trade room. So I am going to move over and look at first a couple of the setups that we posted just to see what's going on. So I know we posted in the in our Telegram group. We got the Euro Aussie here lately and the dollar CAD. So I want to take a look at this Euro Aussie to see what's going on this 5 minute. We can see we're ranging, but I noticed that push down earlier. It came right back to that level and it pushed back up. So right now we need price to break out, right? So if you're using the cloud, it pushed sideways through, okay, this inner trend line, push sideways. Hey, end of the day, market close, Asian session starts up, lower volatility. You can get that at times, all right? Matter of fact, oftentimes. So if you're using your trend line, right, and it push sideways through it like it did, you can move it to the outside of your consolidation and force a break there. Or if you're using the cloud, right, like I have on here, okay, because I know some people use the cloud, you can see how it's starting to push up. So we can see how we were bearish. We've got that bearish cloud there. And now we're starting to see if we can get some momentum topside. So we need to really break this level. We've got a bullish cloud up ahead, kind of flat though, and then So we'll see if we can start to build some momentum on that to see if we can get a breakout trade, right? So if I was looking at this just from a price action standpoint, it's like, hey, I got this consolidation here. I want to see price breakout, right? Just like one we had earlier this week on the Euro Aussie, as a matter of fact, right? I think it was, yeah, right? How it broke out and pushed up. So we're kind of like right back in the same scenario again. Right, pattern driven market. So that's where we are. So we'll see if it can, if it's just going to do the dance or if it's going to push up and start to head towards our 382 target. So that's where we are on the Euro Aussie. If we look at it from a higher time frame, we're just finding these smaller plays, right? We can see here that it's turning over, it's bouncing, still kind of rangy, but it is respecting that weekly 157.04, right? We've got a weekly high, but that's from a weekly perspective. And if we come to the daily, you can see how it's just a little bit of a tighter range there, right? So we can go down to the lower time frames and find potential setups. Or you can wait, right? Wait for price to break out 152.58 daily support, 157.04 weekly resistance there. All right, so kind of doing a dance, but there's some opportunity on the lower time frame. So that'd be interesting to see if we get that momentum to push up. That target is 60 pips or so away. All right, so we'll see how that one plays out. Any questions on the Euro Aussie?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. So USD CAD was the other one that we posted. Yep. Okay. USD CAD. Go check that one out. There, and we're starting to get the push on that, right? So that's a 4-hour support around at 134.10. Okay, and we know that support and resistance is not just a line, it's a zone, right? So it depends on how you draw it up on your chart. I typically use lines. But look, hey, we've got this drive, this move to the downside, right? We had the news today, but look at here, right? So just some other things to point out. Okay, so we put the technical setup in the Telegram, but I don't like to make those too busy. But if you look here, right, and here, okay, and here, okay, we're kind of right back at that level, right? So it's either going to hold again or we're going to get that bounce. Last time, right, we got a nice push to the upside, okay? And again, this is the 5-minute chart. So last time we hit this level, we had a nice push up, okay? So we'll see what happens at this level now, okay? So we've got a little decent break. We're pushing higher, right? We're still a session kind of sideways, but we're trying to make a higher high here, okay? To move along to the upside. So we'll see how that one continues to play out for the Euro CAD. Any questions in regards to what we're looking like on the 5-minute?
Pretty clean, bro.
We're good on that? Okay, what's the extension? What's the extension level on this? 133.69, right? So the way you play these, okay? Of course, if you use a wider stop, right, that affects your lot size, right? So we always take our risk percentage divided by our stop loss. So if you're using a wider stop and you let that swing, say you put it at your D extension, okay, then that's your stop 133.69. If you're playing it tighter and you're moving right off the trend line break, you want to put it right below, right, the last swing low, okay, prior to your trend line break, right? So somewhere around there, and you keep it tight, okay? And if you get stopped out, you get stopped out. You look to re-enter if it gives you more momentum in your direction, okay? Or you can put it wider, right, like that. So if you're waiting for it to come in, right, clean at this 127 zone, okay, it automatically, to get back to that 382, right, it becomes, here's our 127, here's our stop, okay, 44, call it 45 pips. Well, my TP1 on that is 83 pips, Okay, so when you're looking at 1.5 or whatnot to 2, as far as your risk to reward, letting it fall to that 127, especially if you got good confluence with a support level, letting it fall to that level, if you keep it wide, the math still works out over time, right? Or, right, you can squeeze it and make it tighter. That's totally up to you and your trade plan. We can't do that for you, right? You have to rep it out to see what you could tolerate psychologically, right? The tight stops sound good until you get stopped out 5, 6, 7 times in a row, right? And your stomach starts to hurt. Okay, now if that's how you like to trade, because you know that, hey, when I hit that 1 or 2 trades that hit my target is going to wipe out those losses, then you do that. If not, you need to entertain other ways to set your trade up. Okay, it's pretty cut and dry when it comes to trading. The market's moving up, down, and sideways. You look for your zones that you like to trade, and you work your risk out accordingly. Okay, so you might start out with them to stops nice and tight, and then you say, you know what, I can't take that, right? So then you make your adjustment. Okay, but either way you go, you're gonna have a pretty decent risk to reward ratio on those. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. All right, to keep in mind on that. Any questions on that particular subject in regards to your stop loss? Okay.
No, sir. We're good there.
All right, so that's it, right? That becomes simple. 127, let it drop. If my stop is at the D, right, at 45, I got 8, and then your TP2s and those levels are icing on the cake, right? If it pushes higher, which we know, we see that happen. Okay, if it pushes higher in the zone, we know that 8 boundary could be your potential TP3, and then so on and so forth. And a lot of times, if you're doing higher time frame analysis, you could project potentially that it may go higher, right? This is just the lower the time frame you go, the earlier and the tighter the entry point on your positions. But the UCAT, a lot of these dollar pairs are just bouncing around. But you can see we've got a decent swing to the upside in the correction, and we see where it's holding up at. All right, but right there you can see it's making higher highs and higher lows. But with the dollar the way it's going, we saw a huge correction today as a result of Chairman Powell's speech and some of the other fundamental numbers that came out. So it's just a matter, right, if it's going to hold in its zone and continue up, or if it's going to come back down. But in the meantime, right, on the shorter term, right, we can see if we can, right, catch profit on these lower corrections. All right, so that's there. So we can see here, right, on this previous one. See how that came down into your 127 zone. Let me just blow this up a little bit. All right. It came into your 127. I mean, your shallow retracement, less than that 382, hit that 236, bounced down into that zone, and then we reversed back up. Right. So if you had that stop wide, it plays out on every fib. Right. It's a 26 pip there. Back to the 382 is pretty much 50 pips. So call it 25 and 50. Yeah, that's a 2-to-1. Right. So if you make sure that you spend time on your charts, you recognize those things. Right. Like, man, that makes the math easy for me. So I know over 100 trades, if I'm in a 2-to-1 or whatnot, if I win 50 of them, right, I can come in through at 50%. I'm gonna make money. Okay. So something to think about. Okay, as we move further and further into our trading journey, and we try to figure out what works for us, you know. So that's it on the UCAT. Ryan, anything to add on
that? No, just continue to be patient. Wait on your confirmations on that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty clean, man. Great.
Okay.
Breakout.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And it becomes simple. I found my zone. Either it goes to my target or it hits my stop. I've already figured it out, right? I've already won the war before it started because I already know what I'm risking, right? We can't say that enough. 0.25%, 0.5%, 1%, 2%. I already know. I'm already comfortable. So it's either going to go to its destination or it's not. And I have to be fine with that. Okay. All right. So NZD CAD was another one I wanted to take a look at on the 4-hour. I have that one written down. It's a 15. That just hit a D extension, right? So this is coming in on the 15. See, you didn't quite get to that 382, but we shot right to that D extension. But what I want to take a look at is some of the higher time frame movement on this NZD CAD, okay? Because we can see here, look, it's running, okay? It is running. Look at the rally. We know we had recently the drop off in the price of oil earlier in the week, and you can see how it's just taking out highs and it's just pushing, right? That's a rocket, okay? On the weekly, it's a beautiful thing. But if you look at it here, right, on your daily, right, we covered this last night, believe. Look, you got a AB boundary, shallow retracement less than a 382. We come down in the 127, 118, 127 zone with monthly support at 76.30, and boom, we're headed right up. Even on the daily chart, we're headed right up to that 382. Okay, right up to that 382, breaking through levels. Okay, we're hardly getting any type of checkbacks and retests. All right, so it's just accelerating. But if you look, we know on the lower time frames, as a breakout there, we know on the lower time frames that, right, we've had this drawn up for a while, moving up. Okay, so we know that we've got smaller waves. The market moves in waves, very shallow. That just shows you who has control of the market. Okay, very few sellers. Look at that. It's moving up. It's accelerating. But our daily 382 is right at the 127 zone on this 4-hour chart. Okay, so this could be a longer term correction. So we'll see once price hits that daily 382, right at this 127 zone, then maybe it's time for us to make a correction back down, right? So maybe we push up. If we see price starts to dance around a little bit in that zone, and maybe we come back down for that correction to at least 382. It's the same thing, everybody, over and over and over again. Okay. Lower time frames are a fractal of its higher time frame. Okay. Big brother, little brother, big sister, little sister, right? So if we get up to this level, we come back down to that 382. That's a 225 pip move on the correction. Okay. And you have to make the decision as a trader. Do you want to play that? If not, you said, you know what, there's no doubt. I'm bullish on this NZD CAD, then you're waiting for a low price anyway to get back long, okay, in the zone. Now, keep in mind, we do on Friday have employment numbers coming out for Canada, okay? Employment numbers coming out for Canada, we're getting a nice rally, right? Market rally, and commodities tend to do a little bit better during risk on. China, somewhat positive news regarding a new direction as it results to zero COVID policy. No one else really knows what that means, but it's been taken as a positive, right? In some aspects. So China, trade partner, New Zealand, largest trade partner, right? You got a good little rally going on, right? With the NZD. So here we are. Here's that daily 382. That's how it reflects on the one, right? So right around in that zone is where we may see price start to stall a little bit. Okay, that's that daily 382. Again, we've got it marked on all time frames. We just hit the D extension, right? See if it'll overrun, and then see if it starts to get a little bit shaky and consolidate and correct to the downside, right? So that's the NZD CAD. So this one is more of a, right, be patient, let it get up, let it work its way up to that zone and see what we can get. Any questions on the NZD CAD?
No, sir. It's definitely one I got my eyes on as well.
All right. Me too. So it's exciting when you see that, right? I love seeing opportunities. So let's take a look at the NZD Swissy. But before I go back there, let me look at this because I didn't pull that up on this UCAD that we were looking at. Because I know we got folks that love the cloud. So let me throw that on there and see what it looks like right now. Right? It's trying to work its way through. Okay. All right. Got a little bullish shine up ahead. Right. We got a TK crossover going on below the cloud. Where's our Chico span? Just broke above price. So it's gonna be interesting, right? Of course, if you wait for the breakout, okay, Chico span above price, you got a TK crossover, you got a bullish cloud up ahead. Let's wait to see, right? If we get that price action in that candle to break the cloud and close, right? Bullish, see if we can get that Chico span to follow. You got time, right? So you don't have to be so aggressive off an inner trend line if that's not your thing, right? You can wait, you can use the cloud for confirmation, okay? Use the cloud for confirmation, a little bit conservative, right? In that regard, if you like for more confirmation, the cloud kind of does it all for you, right? And then just price action wise, right? That's why we always have that the little zigzag, the little ABCD wave, or in terms of the Ichimoku, what they call an N wave, right? That's what that is. You kind of see it looks like an N, but it's all the same thing, right? ABCD wave, okay? All of that, right? Elliott wave, a 1, 2, and a 3, okay? It all comes together. So just be patient. Continue to be patient on that. If you're not the type of trader that either limits in the zones and works out your risk to reward and just let the market do what it's going to do, if you need those extra confirmations, there you go. All right. So that's the UCAD. I wanted to make sure that I put that on there for everybody who might be interested in that cloud. I know we have some people that use it. So I wanted to take a look at the NZD Swiss, right? How we're just moving up, right? We got a nice correction going on it, but it was one. That's the 4. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't on here. No. Yes, here. So just wanted to show everybody, right? Just with counter trend, right? It's always good to visually be able to see these examples. Your counter trends, a beautiful, beautiful ABCD wave, right? B, C, okay? We hit the 61.8 zone up against daily support. So our natural projection is our 1.618D extension. And we can see that that's how it's tracking, okay? So when you're looking to trade with that trend, whether you put your stop below the C point, which is your lowest point within the AB boundary, okay? Whether you put your stop below the C and run it tighter, or you put it below the A, right? You see that you get a positive risk to reward. So if you let it float and put your stop below that C, you can see how your risk to reward still plays out, right? So we come in here, right? And hey, I like taking it at that 61.8. Boom. Right now, make sure I get that level right. That. Down a little bit. Around that 61.8 zone. Okay. And you say my projection is my 1.618 extension. Okay. Now I'm putting it right on here for the measurement, but you always want to, I'll just do it now. You want to put it usually right below, right before your target, because the market can react, right? Because again, it's a zone, right? So just always keep that in mind. Okay. So now you look at your setup. And you made the determination that, hey, I'm bullish. This is how you play the game. Just like that. Beautiful ABCD wave. Okay. So there's your risk to reward on that. So you risked because you traded in the zone. Okay. Your risk, call it 90 pips. Okay. We take our risk and we divide it by our stop loss. That's going to give us our lot size. And, right, okay, we take it up to 61.8. And we come here, you got 248. Okay, you got 248 on that. Okay. What's that? 248, almost 250. We'll just stick with 248. So that's almost a 3-to-1, like 2 3/4, something like that. Okay. Bang. Okay. Letting it come into your zone, right? Coming around your zone. hit that buy zone. That's why with Smart Trader, they have it separated, right? Your buy zone, your push zone. This is your buy zone here. This is your C to Z push zone. And then what that's just representing is, right, we want a discount. I'll take 61%, 78%, 86%, okay? So, right, again, okay, your AB boundary is your foundation. That's our bat signal, right? That stays concrete. It does not float. It does not float. It's the difference the way we trade the fibs. We don't take the fib, and if price just keeps expanding, we keep expanding. It's not what we do, right? Our old A, B, C, D, our C and our D becomes our new AB. That's how we map it out, okay? So we don't expand it. That's concrete. So the only thing that's going to float is your C and your D, okay? And your D is relative to your C, meaning that your retracement level dictates, right, your extension level. The deeper you retrace, the less momentum price has to move back in a direction, in your directional bias, okay? So we got a 61A, we projected 1.618D extension. Had that dropped to a 78.6, we would move that projection for our D extension here, okay? Still has you in the same risk, not the same, but a solid risk to reward ratio, right? Sometimes even better with the deeper pullback. Okay, now 8.6, we project it here, just like that. So the only thing that floats is your C and your D when you're trading with the trend and you're trading that C to D move. Drop me a 1 if we are clear on that. Okay. All right. So that's that on the 1 hour. Okay. The crown on the 4.
Yep. That was on the previous pair, which
on the previous pair.
Yeah.
You got a what's the name here? I thought she was looking at this. That's pretty much like a head and shoulders at the reversal zone there, right? I saw that earlier. That's why I clicked back. I thought this is what she was talking about.
Yeah, she was talking about the dollar CAD.
Okay. So that was pretty much that's a head and shoulders right there. You see how that came in? Okay, right here. All right, that came in there. See? Okay, nice reversal pattern. All right. Any questions on that? No?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. And then I wanted to take a look at for something for us to keep an eye on. So we got that NZD CAD. And I don't think we put that in the Telegram yet. Ryan, I don't think so.
No, I'll drop it in there.
Okay. And I want to take a look at, of course, this pound dollar scenario, right? We've looked at this a few times. It's still bouncing around, but we're still in this zone, right? And so it still hasn't broken out to that D extension yet. Okay, so these are larger setups. So if you look at it still, right, you take them here, okay, 326, almost 600. See how the math works out with the fib? Now that's a huge swing. That's a wider stop, right? Some people don't like that. That's fine, right? You wait for your trend line breaking. You wait for price to start making lower lows and lower highs out of the zone. Is another way that you can play that, right? Make sure it shows some commitment to the downside. Okay, but just wanted to use that example to show you how, right, putting that stop at a D extension wider, trading smaller, okay, can still put you in a situation where your risk to reward to the downside. It's almost automatic, right? Positive risk to reward. Okay, so here, look at this going back, okay? You see how this came into this 118, 127 zone, came right back down. This one came back 50%, right? But look at the reaction there. Okay, so you come off this zone here, right? That's over 500 pips. That's on a 1 hour chart, everybody. It's on a 1 hour. That's on a 1 hour chart. Right. Okay, so right, this is where we're at from the higher time frame. Price is just trapped in between this zone. Okay. It's trapped right now, trying to make his mind up. Okay. Still in the sell zone, moving down. Okay. Got some momentum today because of the news, Fed news. Okay, data reports that came out. We'll see. We'll see. But right, the main thing is on that one. Right, we're still bouncing around that zone. Okay, here are those two levels. Okay, so we want to pay attention to that. Okay? You can be patient with this one. Right, you can be patient. Let it show us that it wants to commit to the downside. All right, that's the pound dollar. Any questions?
Can we look at your daily again?
Mm-hmm.
On my daily, I have my fib going to the downside.
Mine too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, mine too. Mine's to the downside.
Gotcha.
We're still in that zone. Just correcting. Right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, that was tricky right now because of what's going on with that dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's interested to see what the Bank of England is going to do come December. December is going to be a big month as we close out the year because we're starting to see, well, it's still, I mean, you still got it's starting to taper off a little bit. Some of the inflationary pressure started to taper off just a little bit in most of the major countries in dealing with the central banks, but in the UK, not necessarily. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. The Fed, we're expecting 50 basis points. We'll see how much we'll see going forward into next week, closing out the month to that first week of December, what the price action looks like and how investors are reacting. Friday could be big. Like non-farm payroll days used to be enormous, but now the data is getting out so fast that it's starting to get priced in a lot faster. But on the heels of the Fed speech and ADP showing 127K missing forecast in the private sector, it'll be interesting to see what the jobs numbers look like in the U.S. on Friday. Mm-hmm. We know that Canada, right? We just saw the article with Canada. You know how they're performing pretty good, right? The only thing that's weighing that Canadian dollar down, you know, is the oil. Is the oil price, but in regards to their GDP and their overall economy, they're doing well. So it'll be interesting to see their employment numbers on Friday too, right? Especially from a longer swing trading perspective. But this one's going to be interesting because you got a few of these pairs that are kind of just hovering in the zone and it seems like they're just stuck there, right? And they're not making a decision necessarily either way, right? Has its up and its down days, but it's still in the same zone. So. Yep, that's the pound dollar. So we'll see how that plays out on the one. I got nothing really on the 5 right now for that. Any other questions on the pound dollar? No, we're all good.
All good there, bro.
All right, that's gonna be that and that Euro USD. It's gonna be interesting. We'll take a look at the Euro USD shortly. You know, it's been a wild ride this year. You know, every day I'm listening to Bloomberg radio and everything. It is like these investors are pulling their hair out. You know, one day they absolutely hate Jerome Powell and inflation is his fault and he triggered it and he got the rest of the central banks to go along with him. And then the days like the day they were like, he said what we needed him to say. So I'm just like, I don't know, but the consensus is that it's been a tough year for the majority of them at their level, trying to figure out, exactly what's going on. But I
Yeah,
don't know, man. I just stick to the waves.
that's it, bro.
I'm not in the league. I don't have all the quants and and all that other stuff. I just use the sequence. But anyway, GJ wanted to take a look at that one. And this is this has been the wild child, as it always is. So we got that turn. That's what we were looking at yesterday. And it formed another fib on the 15, pulled back almost 100%, close to 90, but it's giving another nice move. I didn't even catch this one to the downside. Yeah, I didn't catch any of it. It popped off that 4-hour and went another 200 pips. So when this thing is moving, man, it's moving.
It's moving for sure.
Yeah, it's moving. But here's the cleaner look on the 4. Okay. So on the longer swing, you see how this came in and pretty much double top? That's beautiful. In that zone, against that 169.10 at daily level, right in between that 50, 61.8 area. And ever since we broke trend line, we've been moving down. So we break this 4-hour level 165. We're looking at 163.01. Probably see some sort of reaction there, but that D extension right now is projected down here at this level at 160.72. Right.
Another
So
thing I
that,
watched here too, bro.
what'd you say?
Kiki posted in the Telegram. You got a
Mhm.
potential head and shoulders there also if that 4-hour level holds.
Yes, absolutely. I can see it right here.
Yeah. So if that
Yeah,
level holds, you got the head and shoulders. If it breaks, obviously that's failed, and that D extension
yeah.
is in play, like you're saying.
It's beautiful work, Kiki. Use that Telegram. Make this one big mastermind, everybody.
That's what it's
All
there
right.
for, man.
All right, put it in there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about all. Get some type of crazy negative criticism, or this ain't Twitter. Like, put it in the Telegram, right? Get some good feedback, and what you think is a solid trade setup. That may hold. That's spot on. That's gonna be interesting. I wonder if that'll hold.
It's definitely gonna be interesting.
That's I mean, you gotta look. You got resistance, right? That it acted as there. And now you got, look, 1, 2, 3 coming in the 4th time at that level. All right. So maybe if you do that, we're probably getting range bound. All right. But I definitely see that head and shoulders, though, the potential there if it holds. We'll see. Our stochastic is in the sell zone, so our momentum is potentially to the downside right now.
Yeah.
I see it. That's the GJ. Any questions on that, anybody? 15. It's the new AB boundary on the 15. Let me see something here. So we got a new AB boundary on the 15. I want to move. I'm gonna clear this one out and move this to a 5. We're all done with that one. Run this off this leg here. Okay. So that's the potential setup there for the GJ. Okay, new AB boundary on the 15. I mean, yeah, on the 15. Okay. The low, we look like on a 5. All right, be interested to see if that pushes down to that zone lower. So that's a potential, right? Be patient. Let it work. All right. But you guys see what we just did there, right? It's not hard to find that setup. Look at the impulse leg to the downside. Okay. So if we come into that zone, you got what? At your 127 level, the extension, we got 50, and we're at 94. Okay. We're at 94. All right. So you started to deploy your trend lines, right? Now, for this cloud, if it drops down to that level, you'll see the cloud and those averages start to move and shift, right? So it'll be a different cloud setup by the time it gets down to that zone, right? And that's just how it moves, right? Sometimes you just fixate on one chart and you just learn, right? You just learn stuff like how is this moving with price? Okay, how is that moving with price? Okay, now if it gets super impulsive from here, that's not going to happen. It'll run right into that 382 beneath your cloud. But if it takes its time and it pushes down a little bit lower, your cloud, right? It'll be different. It'll be a different setup. Okay, different setup. So, hey, figure out what works best for you. You might be a moving average trader. You don't want none of this on your chart, or you don't want trend lines on your chart. You might use a crossover with moving averages, right? Maybe a 20 over 50 or a 9 over 13. There's so many different things out there, right? So that's part of your discovery process. But these are the zones that we like to trade. Okay, so that kind of makes a little bit of sense, because look, if I drop this down, I'm at support. I'm coming into support, right? I'm at support. It's either going to hold it, okay? It's either going to hold it, or we're going to break and push down to that level and see if we can form a swing low at that level. See? All right. So if you're just using trend lines, right, a little bit more aggressive, okay, and we're just going to deploy our trend lines off the high, like so. Okay. Okay. Boom. See? Just like that. All right. Now we got this zone here, right? We got some highs here. Okay. But this, you see these highs, right? See those resistance levels, that zone? Okay. So you can either draw your lines there, you can draw a zone. Okay. Just always remember, everybody, it moves up, down, and sideways. There's only a few zones that we trade to keep us technically out of the mess. Okay. So this may be a situation where you say, you know, okay, maybe I want to see it break and push up and come back to me. Form a high, see if it forms a high and comes back to me. Maybe it forms a high back at this level. And now this is going to be the third test, but however it happens, right? Okay. Maybe I want to see it break and push up and pull back, right? And then explode up through the zone. Okay. All right. And then get long, right? However you want to play it, just be patient. Now, if you're aggressive off your break, and hey, I got a nice bullish candle close on the backside of that trend line, then you go ahead and you smack it. You smack your stop loss below that low, like that. And you say, you know what, I'm in there. Okay, I'm in there. Right? Depends on how you want to play it, how aggressive you want to be, right? Maybe you just say, hey, maybe I'm in a 2-to-1. This closes, okay? This closes bullish, closes up here somewhere bullish. That's 27 pips, call it 25 pips or so. Maybe I'm looking for 50 to the top side. Maybe I'm just looking to get back to this resistance level, okay? The key is being able to find your reversal zones, okay? That's the whole thing. So that's how you can break it down, coming off of your higher time frames down to your lower time frames, okay? All right, so keep that in mind as you trade. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, okay? We always say, hey, you'll get the technicals down. The next challenge is psychologically being able to pull the trigger and believe, not in me and Ryan, but to believe in yourself. Okay. All right. Okay. Any questions on the pound yen?
No, sir.
We good? All
We're
right.
good.
Okay. My bad. I'm off my game tonight. I didn't give everybody control of the mic. Sorry about that, everybody. All right. So that's where we are on that. So we'll continue to watch that. So, hey, we got a B boundary play. You can be aggressive, run that stop tight. And if it decides to turn over, then you're like, you know what? I got stopped out. Next stop, 118, 127 zone. Okay. Or you can say, I only want to trade the 127. Okay. And so I need for price, right, to work its way back down, right, to this zone. And then I'll look to take it. Now I'll leave my stop here, right? Knowing that if it comes to this level, back to the 382, I'm in a positive risk to reward. Or still, I use the same technique. Trend line break, okay? Enter aggressively off the break or wait for the correction, right? Boom, okay? You can use your fib on that if you want to a level. And if it comes in my sweet spot, see, that puts you right into my stops below the A. Because the A is nothing but a swing low. And if I get a swing low, that forms a what? Floor, support, same stuff over and over again. Okay. Once you learn how to frame it out, then my pull back to my level that I like, that's favorable. And then you can say from there, either I want to take it to the fib target, the capital fib target, which is at 382, or no, Benny, I just want to take it to the respective extension off of this sub fib. See, if I get that pullback, then I'll go there and I'm good, because now, right, around that 61.8 area, I got 20 pips there, got 60 pips there. That's a 3-to-1. See that? Right? And I'm good there. I'll leave the rest alone. I'm out. Thanks. I just wanted that wave, right? Okay. I wanted that wave, that ABCD wave, that Elliott wave, wave 1, 2, 3, right? You learn so much, right? The way we teach the framework, right? 1, 2, 3. And typically you get a 4 and a 5 is what you look for. And then from there, okay, when we're playing that wave, okay, that's how you've learned. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's followed by what? Typically, a corrective wave. Yeah. See? Back to the downside. 1, 2, 3, your 4 and your 5, right? You know your Elliott wave rules. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by ABCD correction to the downside. It all comes into what we teach. Right? So whatever method brought you into the game, we can help you out here. Okay. But that's your ABCD wave there. Okay. Now let's take a look at the Euro USD real quick. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. Right? You gotta believe, right? You gotta believe. You have just have an unwavering belief in yourself. You know, when you look at some of the greatest leaders in the world, some of them good, some of them bad. One thing that they have in common is that they believe in themselves, right? So you got to believe in yourself. So here's a Euro USD, right? Kind of stuck in limbo, kind of like we saw on the pound dollar, right? Aussie dollar probably looking like this too, right? So we're kind of stuck, right? Trying to break through some levels. That's just, it is what it is. When you see that type of price action, no need to try to make nothing crazy out of it on the higher time frames. It's in the zone and it needs to make a decision. Here we are on the 5. Okay, we'll see what happens. It's doing the dance, right? Haven't quite gotten a 382 yet. Not all the way up into that 127, but we got a reaction back down. This is one that I don't really have on my radar in particular, but you know, that's still there potentially. Not my favorite setup, but this is where we are. We're just here. This is what it is. It's dancing. He needs to make a decision. That 104 level has been pretty strong on the Euro USD. I'm gonna take a look at the Aussie dollar real quick. And kind of look, you just saw the Euro USD. It's almost identical. Can't make this stuff up. Right? Sometimes it's hard to see, right? If you don't know how to frame it out right. Have some structure to how you approach the market. Okay. So it's the same thing. And then look, that's actually pushed up higher now, a little bit higher than your other two pairs that we looked at, dollar crosses. See? So for all the reaction, right, didn't do too much, right? It's your 80-20 swing up into the zone, just sitting there. All right, so that's that. Any questions on anything that we covered this evening? No. So we get on here every night because we really like, this is how we learn, right? From our mentors way back in the day, right? You go through your training and then you get on here and you try to visually see it and apply it, right? Then you do your work on the back end, then you come to these sessions and you ask your questions, right? So it's just different angles, right, to learning, right? And it's the repetition that's the key. You gotta get the reps in, right? So as long as you guys keep showing up, we're gonna keep showing up. Like Ryan always says, keep showing up for yourself, right? And it'll click. It'll click and you'll get it. And before you know it, you'll be your own independent, consistently profitable trader, right? You'll know what to do every single time you get on the chart. Somebody can show you a chart of whatever, right? NASDAQ, S&P, Nike stock, Meta stock, Amazon stock, whatever it is, right? Currency, you'll be able to get on a technical chart and say, you know what, this is exactly what I need to do. Give me a few different charts, a monthly, a daily, a 4 hour, 1 hour, 15. Let me mark my support and resistance. Let me try to form my directional bias. Let me try to look for my high and my low price. Drop a fib on here if I want to drop a fib on here. And these are the zones that I'm looking for. Doesn't matter across the board. Does not matter. And that's what we're trying to teach and instill in everybody here in the Forex trade room, right? And for all of you that are part of the Inner Circle family. So make sure, right, that you post. Don't be scared to post. I used to be the same way. Don't be scared to post. This is what you're here for. Take advantage of the training in the back office. Take advantage of posting in the Telegram and getting feedback. Keep showing up to the sessions. If you can't show up to the sessions, they're all recorded in the back office so you can go back, right, and watch it later. Show up, right? I know a lot of people are busy on the weekends. Show up to the weekly rituals or watch the recordings, right? There's some things in the future that we may be doing, just putting out as an overall forecast for the week, because, you know, a lot of people are busy on Saturdays and they can't show up. So that's something that we may move toward in the future. But take advantage of everything, right? We give you a ton of value and stuff for what you pay to be a member. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Open your mind up and dive in, right? Sometimes you got to jump and grow your wings on the way down, as the great Les Brown always says, right? Just dive in. All right. So appreciate all of you being here. Ryan, hey, what you got for us, Ryan, as we wrap it up?
Man, you just said it, right? It takes time, effort, and energy, man. It takes work.
Yep.
But the great thing about us as human beings, right? The way we were designed to adapt and evolve. That means the more you do something, the better you become. The more you do it, the better you become. Deliberate practice makes progress. And that's what it's about. It's go time, man.
Yep. Hey, great session, everybody. Ryan, well said. Well said. Hit it spot on. Hit it spot on. So, hey, let's get to work, everybody. It's worth it. It's worth it. What other thing can you do? You can pop on your computer and not have a cap on your money, right? There's no Forex authority sit here and said you've made enough money. That's it, right? You made 50 grand this year, you're looking to make 52 grand next year. Nobody's telling you that. So the more and more the better and better you get, the more success you can have, right? And we appreciate all of you. So tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, pre-New York session with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. We look forward to seeing everybody. Until then, take care. Bye now.